This was the former Redcar Steelworks in the northeast of England. That's only an hour from our head office to drive. It's the kind of project that if it was 10 hours away from our head office, we'd still drive it because it was that much of a good project for us. We were just very fortunate it was sort of almost on our doorstep. The steelworks was central to Teesside's long and rich industrial steelmaking heritage. The site had a worldwide reputation for its products spanning around 170 years. Many of the world's most iconic buildings and structures were built with the steel that was made at this plant. That includes the Sydney Harbour Bridge, it includes London's Shard, and various other sort of iconic structures around the globe. So this steel industry within Teesside played a defining role in the lives of hundreds, if not thousands of people in the Tees Valley across multiple generations. Many of the structures on the 18-kilometre squared site were iconic, again, to the skyline across the region for decades. However, unfortunately, in 2015, the site was suddenly closed, which came as quite a shock to the region. Employees were literally at work one day and then told not to come back the next. The closure ripped the heart out of the local communities with 2,000 jobs lost. So as well as the direct disastrous impact upon so many people, the fact that the site was closed so abruptly meant that it wasn't planned. And unfortunately, as steelworks don't just have an off button, this caused a number of problems, which I'll touch upon later throughout the presentation. So within 2 years of the closure, there was some positive news finally about the site, where an announcement was made about the UK government-backed 25-year vision to build a world-class industrial facility focused on clean energy and advanced manufacturing with a view to create thousands of local jobs. Further to that, the then UK Prime Minister Theresa May launched South Tees Development Corporation, which was subsequently rebranded to the more snappy title of Teesworks, which I'll refer to a lot throughout the presentation. Teesworks are effectively the client. So to give an indication of as to how important the site is to the UK government, all UK Prime Ministers since Theresa May have visited site. And for those of you who follow UK politics, that is quite a few. In order to do all of this development and build these nice shiny new facilities, which they've now started doing, they first needed to decontaminate and demolish what was there already. And as you might have guessed, that's where we started to get involved. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the basic oxygen steelmaking plant, or what is known by everybody on site as the Boss plant. So the contract value was just below $30 million, and it's certainly safe to say that was proportional to the physical size of the structures and the site in general. It really was a vast site. I have some shots in a video shortly where you get a better scale of what the project looked like. The photo that I've got on the screen there is part of the cathedral section, which was sort of the last bit that we came to. So the site itself was 378,000 metres squared area. The structures themselves were up to 520 metres in length and up to 70 metres in height. That was the cathedral section there, which was the tallest part of the site. The project took just under 2 years to complete. So moving on to the first challenge that we encountered, or the biggest challenge that we certainly encountered on the Boss plant, it was working from height. Within the Boss plant, there was what was sort of locally known, as I said, as the cathedral section there, which was 130 metres long, 70 metres wide, and 70 metres high. We determined from the outset that the safest and most efficient demolition methodology for this part of the plant was to carry out a controlled explosives blowdown, which would take place in the later stages of the project once we've cleared the surrounding areas of plant and structures. The explosive engineering subcontractor that we were working with initially proposed an excellent technical blowdown solution for us, which we were very satisfied with the design of which, from a technical perspective. However, from a practical perspective, from a safety point of view, it would have resulted in prolonged manual preparation and pre-weakening work at heights for Thompsons operatives, where they would be working somewhere in the region of 60 metres up in the structure. Not only that, but in order for our guys to get there, they would have had to have worked from scaffolding platforms, so therefore not only do we need to send our guys up there, we need to send scaffolders up there as well for really significantly prolonged periods of time, where we've also got the additional risk of manual handling, as well as working from height. So to try and put it simply, the safety risks were too significant for the initial proposal to be viable for us.